Jesus. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. You can tell I'm a wee bit out of practice. How are you doing? It's Sunday, the 5th of September, 2021. And it is, of course, your favourite time of the week, more or less. It's time for the BBC Spews. Get in. Obviously, I was a bit unprofessional there. I've been away for a while. But by popular demand, well, my mother-in-law, I've brought it back. The BBC Spews. Huzzah! Let's get into it, shall we? First things first. Oh my word. It's personal. I take them attacking Middlesbrough players as if people of Middlesbrough haven't got enough on the plate. Poor old Middlesbrough. The most put-upon town in the world. Yeah, I was raised, every time I looked out my window, I had to see those starving African children covered in flies. On the walk to school, I had to step over the dead babies, navigate the burning prams in the car park of Aldi, stay laser focused on the classroom so I didn't have to witness a homeless, drug-addled prostitute shitting up against the art department. All of that is bequeathed to the denizens of Middlesbrough. The one thing going for it is a relatively good football team. And even that, they have come for. The villains. Look at the clip of this story. Mark Bowler, Middlesbrough defender, charged by FA over 9-year-old social media post. Now, it could be worse. He could have done the social media post when he was 9 years old. If you're thinking that, good news, it's not quite as bad as that. Bad news, however, it's fucking nearly as bad as that. Look at the state, the absolute state of this story. So he wasn't 9 years old. The post itself is 9 years old. How old was he, I hear you ask? There's Mark, came through the Arsenal Academy, good lad. Charged with misconduct by the FA, the disgusting, corrupt, despicable, fat-bent, prostitute-visiting, druggy, bent as Elton John's cock. You know the drill with the FA. They are dirty, rotten to the core. And what's this? Insulting or abusive and improper posts made on 14th of April 2012. Huh? You read that right. 2012. He was a 14-year-old boy and he probably called his mate, stop being a insert formally acceptable euphemism for a cigarette. Right? I've got to say that now in case Susan gets hold of it. Euphemism for a cigarette when he was 14 years old, and they basically made out like he just dug up Mother Teresa and skull fucked her on the 9 o'clock news. Unbelievable. He's made 5 championship appearances and has until the 20th of September to respond. Well, allow me to respond, Bowler. Allow me to respond. What you do is you don't apologise. Remember the golden rule. Never, ever apologise. Donald Trump said far worse than that, and he never apologised, and they couldn't get him. Yeah? When he said, grab him by the piss flaps, everyone he did a fake outrage, didn't it? And he went, who cares? It was locker room talk. That's what you do, Mr. Bowler. So you turn around and say, who the fuck doesn't talk like that when they're 14 years old? Doesn't mean I'm about to go and commit a hate crime. Doesn't mean I'm going to go and burn down a gay disco. Doesn't mean I'm going to turn up at a gay nightclub like the Orlando shooting and do a mass rampage, because guess what? Wasn't a footballer who did that. No, it was a follower of a different ideology that we're not allowed to talk about very much. So, let's not go on about it, shall we? But suffice it to say, a 14-year-old calling his mate a few piss-takey names doesn't warrant anything more than a wry smile. And if you think otherwise, you, like all of the members of the FA, have the intellectual capacity of a breeze block. And you should feel bad, because you're an idiot. And idiots aren't very good at running football associations. And judging by the arse on most of the communists, they're not good at running in general, either. More terrible news, ladies and gents. The Capitol riot, at least they didn't call it the insurrection. Yeah, the world's worst insurrection. Nobody had a gun, nobody got killed, except one of the insurrectionists who took a round in the face. Yeah, so they didn't actually really do anything particularly violent, but one of the fucking rent-a-cops saw fit to redecorate the Oval Office in brain matter red, and nobody said anything about that. Shot an unarmed woman in the face. Wrong place, wrong time, sugar tits. It was an insurrection, don't you know? Michael Brown punching little midget shopkeepers in the face, windmilling on the Rozzers, nothing said. Because Michael is of a protected class, isn't he? Considering how many violent, murderous, criminal pieces of shit we've currently got roaming around the streets in California, thanks to Governor Soy Boy up north, I think we need to be a bit strict with them. But what do I know? I'd pass emergency legislation saying murderous criminals should be shot in the face, buried in an unmarked grave, and then dug up and shot again. That might just be me. Maybe I'm a little bit strict on crime. So Capitol Riot, QAnon shaman pleads guilty in federal court. There he is, JK. Silly bastard. Silly bastard. I mean, again, I don't support the Capitol Riot. It was fucking ridiculous. Made us all look bad. Made everybody right of Chairman Mao look a bit wacky. It was fucking stupid. But let's call a spade a spade. He's not a violent sociopath. He's not a terrifying insurrectionist. He's just a bit of a dickhead who was enjoying a carnival atmosphere, wandering around the fucking Capitol Hill with a big daft hat on. Fucking hell. And let me tell you something. He's accepted a plea deal in federal court for his involvement in the US Capitol riots. Silly fucking idea, falling on your sword when you're dealing with the government. Said he pleaded guilty to one felony count of obstruction. 600 people have been charged in the fucking investigation. 600. How many got charged in the Black Lives Matter riots? You know, when they killed about 40 fucking people and the police chief and caused about $1 billion worth of fucking property damage. How many of them got charged? 600? 60? Fucking 6? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's what happens when the communists rule in all of the civil service and the intellectual establishments and the high-ranking officials and the fucking FBI and the CIA. Anyone who's got letters after the name in this day and age is a fucking brainwashed commie. So, of course, they're going hard on people that disagree with communism. That's what authoritarians do. If that wasn't what they did, they wouldn't have had such a hard time during the Great Leap or in Stalin's fucking Russia, would there? All would have been sunshine and rainbows like AOC thinks because she's never read a book longer than a fucking menu. And look at the sentence. Andy took a plea deal. He's due to be sentenced in November and could face up to 51 months in prison. Unbelievable. Like I said, this is not a free country anymore. I mean, yeah, we're doing slightly better than England, where you're not even allowed to fucking tweet when you're a teenager anymore. But the commies are winning, folks, because people don't call it what it is. As I've said before, to slay the beast, you must first say its name. And these awful, awful bastards need to be getting called what they are. Communists. AOC, she's not a leftist, she's not a liberal, she's not a progressive, she's a fucking communist. And we all know where that leads. Unburied dead, litter in the streets, a collapsed economy, famine, and mountains of fucking skulls. Yeah? You watch. He is going to wait till the sentencing in November, he is going to get absolutely fucked. If he was a Black Lives Matter protester and he did exactly the same thing, he'd get 2 weeks suspended sentence. He's getting jailed. I guarantee it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, justice is no longer blind. She doesn't wear a blindfold in 2021. She wears a fucking I'm with her t-shirt, a pussy hat, and a hammer and sickle tattoo. Welcome to Bizarro World. Hungary versus England, FIFA up, fucking FIFA, yeah, almost as bad as the FA, almost as bent as the FA. FIFA opens disciplinary proceedings after racist abuse aimed at players. Listen, booing BLM is not racist abuse. They are booing communists. They are booing a Marxist organisation that wants to dismantle capitalism and ruin the nuclear family. That's what they're booing. It says FIFA has opened disciplinary proceedings after racist abuse was aimed at England players. Raheem Sterling and Jude Bellingham were both called names. Multimillionaires called names. Boo fucking who. Yeah, and again, don't agree with throwing racist abuse at people because I like people that happen to be black and happen to vote Conservative. But it's name calling. All you do with name calling is you condemn it and you get on with it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but communists have got bones like Mr. Glass off Unbreakable. Yeah, they have to change the nursery rhyme because commies can't take a fucking insult. Or they're weirdo multi-millionaire, what are they? Champagne socialists, fucking Raheem Sterling and Jude. England condemned the abuse. They booed them for taking the knee, as is their right to do, because the people in Eastern Europe know what it's like to live under the yoke of communism, unlike those fat, soft Westerners, which is why we've allowed them to seize the fucking reins. It's a disgrace how it keeps on happening, said Mason Mount. Consequences need to take place. Yeah, people say things we disagree with, so what should we do? Kill them all? Is that acceptable? Consequences. For what? Saying things we don't like is ultimately what it boils down to, right? I'm not saying it's a good idea to throw abuse at people, but it really is consequences for saying things that Marxists don't like. Well, it always starts there, doesn't it? It starts with a fine, it leads to a prison sentence, and it ends in the salt mines. Cheers easy. Why is the Prime Minister getting involved? Fans are calling people names. They've done it for 50 years. It doesn't mean you need to scramble the SWAT team, you silly fat jellyfish. Jesus. Haven't they got better things to do? Sort the country out that you're fucking up, fatty. Instead of worrying about people calling each other names at football matches. Jesus Christ. Tubbs, do your job. Less football, more work. Yeah, less sporting endeavours, more stopping terrorists from murdering people in the face. Please, less going down the zip line with a flag, more stopping little girls from getting bombed senseless and then scattered across the front of sporting venues. You stupid, useless, weak-chinned, amoeba-brained, red Tory motherfucker. Yeah, that's all I've got to say for that. And don't even start me on Pretty Shitty, because she's done less work than the ship's cat. Fuck off, Big Nose. I'm sick of Big Nose gobbing off as well. I don't think our players can do anymore. Well, yeah, they can actually win a tournament. How about that? There's something you could do. You could actually win something. Cyril Sneer. Look, this is what they've done to me. I used to be a big fan of Southgate. And now the commies, they have to infest everything. Everything. The personal is political. Comic books, I used to like them. Football, I used to like that. You can't have anything. Because they want to drive us mad to get the glorious revolution. But it's not going to go well for them because all of the bricklayers and the scaffolders are not interested in being communists. So when it all kicks off, all of these sweet-smelling footballers and their fucking purple-haired chums, they're not going to get on very well, are they? They're just not. So why don't we all calm the fuck down and bring it back from the brink and go back to civilised discourse and letting people say what they want and think what they want without being reamed out by corrupt institutions obsessed with propagating a harmful communist ideology? Why can't we just do that? Take your head for a shit, Gareth. You know nothing. You know nothing. This is the same group that spent months tearing down statues, burning the cenotaph, harassing women and kids, violently assaulting little police women, getting punched in the face off these violent revolutionaries. Winston Churchill statue, sacred to those of us, the men and women that gave their lives to defeat the Nazis, and they attacked it and pulled it down. And now they want us to fucking cheer them. Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? I'd rather cheer the French football team than a communist England team, you fucking big-nosed fraggle. And I suppose I better do some serious news before I sign off. Afghanistan, fate of the Panjshir Valley in balance amid heavy fighting. Well, let me tell you how this is going to go, right? They make it all sound good here. Oh, thousands are reported to be taking part in the fighting. The final holdout hangs in the balance. One of the resistance leaders dismissed claims he'd fled, but said the situation was difficult. The traditional anti-Taliban stronghold is home to somewhere between 150 and 200,000 people. The resistance is led by local tribal leader Ahmad Massoud, whose father successfully fought the Soviets. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what's going to happen, ladies and gents. If you have the brains that the gods gave a goose, which nobody who works for the BBC does, but I'll tell you what's going to happen. Despite holding out for fucking decades, these lads fighting formerly known as the Northern Alliance, now fighting the good fight against the Taliban, they are finally going to get twatted. They are going to get twatted. Do you know why? Do you know why? Answers on a postcard. It's not difficult. You don't need to be a social justice warrior, pink-haired general with the tactical nuance of a fucking flip-flop. You can probably figure it out. Do you know why? This is why. This is why. Yet another of the 10 dozen different things that Joe Biden has just fucked up. This is why. Because formerly they were going up against a poorly equipped Taliban. Now they're going up against the Taliban with 3,000 Humvees, 32 Mi-17s, Hercs, light helicopters, Black Hawks, light attack planes, fucking grenades, counterinsurgency planes, machine guns, grenade launchers, NVGs, the works. The works. It ain't going to be a stalemate for very long, is it? And those of you thick twats, idealistic fuckers who've been saying, oh yeah, but they can't use any of it. They don't know how to fly a helicopter. They know who was flying them before. They will hold their wives and children to ransom, and in 6 months' time, you're going to have a well-equipped Taliban who've been trained on how to use the fucking lot. They will shoot their prettiest daughter in the face and then hold the rest of the wives and kids in a building and say, you show our fighters how to work that fucking attack helicopter, how to drive that Humvee, and how to polish those grenades, or the next one goes in your wife's arsehole. Simple, yes? Idealistic fools like AOC. They won't be able to work it. It'll be fine. It won't be fine. We are seriously shagged. We have a Taliban with more attack helicopters than 95% of the world's militaries, and they will learn how to use them. So you dopey twats that have been sitting at home going, oh, but the Taliban can't fly attack helicopters. Oh, you wait and see, because they will be able to. Evidently, this skipped by most of our ministers. Our defence minister, Johnny fucking Mercer, Johnny Shitbag, Johnny Elson. Johnny Mercer has only ever always been interested in Johnny Mercer. Johnny Mercer fucked Roger Scruton over as soon as look at him without doing basic research, because Johnny Mercer is a shitbag, just like most of the pigs that decide to become members of parliament. Yeah, they're all Ruperts, they're all fucking idiots, and they're all obsessed with building their own legend. That's what I've got to say about Johnny Mercer, because a few of you have asked. That concludes the BBC Spews from my new, somewhat echoey surrounds. Despite the glorious weather, wonderful food, and nice, quiet, peaceful town I'm now living in, I am pleased to tell you that I do remain the extremely angry bootneck, and as long as the world is falling to fucking bits, I shall ever remain so. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking it and sharing it and buying me pints and all of the other things that keep me sane in this crazy, crazy world. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Cheers.